Hello and welcome back to the Indie Author Studio. My name is Hannah Gaudette. I'm the author of 8 self-published books and counting. And today I'm going to talk about how to find an editor affordably for your debut novel. So let's dive right in. The first thing you're going to want to do when you're editing your debut novel or any novel, if it's not your debut, it's your second and third book, wherever you're at. The first thing you want to do generally is find beta readers. And these are volunteers, so they're doing it for free. These might be your peers, your friends, your family members. Anybody is fine as long as they have a good command of what makes a good story and they're not afraid to tell you what's not working in your story. It's important that you're able to take constructive criticism during this stage, and it's important that you're able to take feedback, even conflicting feedback, and apply it to your story in a way that works. So what about after the beta reader stage? Do you still need an editor? Well, some authors don't get a developmental editor after their beta readers have gone through the book. They only get a line editor, and I'll talk about the difference in a moment. But first, if you're only getting a line editor and not a developmental editor, then you need to make sure you have a good number of beta readers, maybe 6 to 8, who are able to finish the book and provide constructive feedback. You'll have some beta readers who read your book and don't give you any feedback, so it's important to have the right beta readers. And in some cases, you won't know until they've finished your book what kind of beta reader they are, but it's important that you have a good number of beta readers who are able to give you feedback. So some authors go from the beta reader stage to the line editing stage, but if you're not going to hire a developmental editor, you have to have very good beta readers. If it's your first book, I highly recommend hiring a developmental editor anyway, regardless of how many beta readers you've had. With your first book, it's really important to get the best foundation and experience that you can. And then you will also want to hire a line editor, and a line editor is looking at grammatical things, sentence structure, whereas a developmental editor is looking at the big picture, plot issues, character issues, etc. You'll often find that beta readers are able to articulate that there is a problem in this section of the book or a problem with this character, but they're not always able to articulate how to fix it. And that's really where a developmental editor comes in, because they have the experience and the knowledge necessary to give you that feedback of how to actually fix something that's not working. So where do you find an affordable editor, whether that's a developmental editor or line editor or both? You're probably going to start on social media because your fellow authors will have worked with editors, and a lot of them, if they're self-published authors, will probably have worked with affordable editors. So start there. Look for your fellow authors who have worked with editors that they've had good experiences with, and they can recommend them and endorse them. It's very important to get client testimonials on any editor before you start, because those testimonials will tell you something about how that editor works with their clients. The ideal editor is somebody who can tell you what is working as well as what's not working. They can give feedback on things they like as well as things that aren't quite right and need improvement. Now, many people go to Fiverr to look for affordable editors. And while I have personally worked with a couple of good editors on Fiverr, I've also worked with those who were not good, and you're not going to know necessarily from their reviews. So I caution against Fiverr, especially if you are working with an editor for the first time. I really just caution against it. And that brings me into another caution that you want to be aware of, especially on Fiverr. You want to be aware of those who might be putting your book into an AI program to edit it. They're not even reading your book. And I have to tell you guys, this happened to me through Fiverr with an editor that I worked with. And, I couldn't have told that from her reviews. Her reviews were great. But I'm fairly certain that she did put it through an AI program. And I not only didn't get my money's worth, but my book was fed to an AI program, most likely. So I really caution against Fiverr, especially if you're just starting out. But there are legit editors on there. There are good editors on there. It's just difficult to sift through the people who are not able to do what they say they can do. So social media, your fellow authors, are really your best place to start with finding a legit, affordable editor. And you can save up your money. You can save up, even if it delays your release a little bit. You don't want to skimp on the editing at any point in time with your book. Now, what about a proofreader? So some people hire a proofreader, and that's a good idea. Some people do it themselves, or they have some readers who help them to find typos and such at the end of the editing process. Proofreading is always the last step. So you can make up your own mind on that if you want to do it, if you know somebody who can, or if you want to pay a proofreader. Regardless, the proofreading has to be done. So just find what works for you in that regard. I generally do the proofreading myself because I can put it into a different format. I do it in the formatting stage. So I'm actually reading the book in a format I haven't seen it before, and that change in format helps me to read it more clearly and catch more typos. But of course, there are probably typos still there. They have 9,000 lives. But there are very good and very affordable editors out there, and there are very good beta readers out there who will volunteer their time for free, or they'll trade one beta read for another beta read. And when you develop these working relationships through social media, through building your author platform, they are very, very helpful. It's a beautiful community on WritersGram, Instagram, of indie authors who are all in the same place and lifting each other up. So definitely work your way into that community, and you will not only find beta readers, but you will also find affordable editors. And finally, I just want to encourage you, if you are afraid or nervous about working with an editor for the first time, which is totally normal, don't sweat it. You are probably going to get an editor who has worked with a lot of first-time novelists, and they understand that this is a difficult and nerve-wracking experience. And you know what? They're going to support you. They're going to give you critical feedback, but they're probably going to help encourage and uplift you as well. Also, make sure to find an editor who has experience in your genre, who loves your genre, in fact, because that's an important part of knowing that you found the right editor, is they love your genre. Many editors are also writers, so you might find somebody who has experience writing in your genre as well, and that's another big plus. I hope this video has helped you today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.